wanted to do a quick little, I don't know, segment and review of if you have a Class A, Class C, some RV that you've had for a long time, wouldn't it be cool if you could paint it and make it your own in a different way? We never talk about different places you can have your RV painted if you've had something for a while, or if you're buying something brand new. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that today. Roll the intro.
A man and a woman left their home to switch things up and go on the road. They didn't know where they would go, but it's gotta be better than staying home. They switched it up. They switched it up.
All right, we've made it to the wonderful Gar family. You guys have come to a lot of our events too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've come to huddles, you've come to meetups, a little
Mexico.
everything. How long have you been following us?
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
Yeah, so 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Now, in that wonderful 3.5 years, this is your second RV?
Yes.
Yeah, the first one, what was your first one?
Momentum 395 MS.
Yeah,
That's actually how we found you.
Yeah.
Was we were wanting one and nobody had one on site, so we found your walkthrough tour
Yeah,
when you guys first bought yours.
that's awesome. And since then, you just traded off. Now, we're talking, just so you have a preface, we're talking about custom painting RV, and they just custom painted their new RV, which is, I don't know what design, or I know who the company is. What do you have?
It's an Alliance Valor 44 V14.
Oh, I did a tour on that.
Yeah, you did.
I did a tour on that. When they first came out, I was at one of the shows and did a tour.
Yeah,
Are you liking it so far?
we are.
Love it.
Now you're traveling their family, so 3 children.
Yes.
And then what'd you do to the back?
So I pulled out the Happy Jacks and remade bed frames for our daughters, so that way they have a comfortable place to sleep, and put some carpet down and just made it a little more friendly for them. So that's their bedroom.
And then you did other upgrades. So you
Yep.
did the upgrades. They did the
Independent suspension.
with MoRide.
Yep. I've done lithium.
Did you give them our name?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. See? Make sure you tell them switch it up when you come. Yeah.
And then I've done
Truma?
Enduro batteries.
Oh.
Truma hot water heater.
Oh.
Converter, or all sorts of Victron component upgrades for lithium and converters and everything. So
Yeah. So what Andy was telling me when we were sitting down earlier throughout the weekend, he was like, we sold the Grand Design, and then I did all those updates for all that time, and then when we got this one, I had to try to cram all the updates in at once, which can be hectic.
it was.
Now, when they bought this is why we wanted to talk about this, because it is unique. You bought it unpainted.
Correct.
Okay, so what was the process like when you were buying? Did you have to tell them, hey, we're thinking about doing something different, or how's that work in the buying process on that we're talking new here?
Yeah, so when we were looking for one, this was a new design. This was a new floor plan that
Right.
was hard to find. So we finally found one, and it was just a plain decaled unit.
Okay.
And when we looked at the full body paints that Alliance had, they weren't necessarily our favorite designs, and so we
And
decided.
no offense, Alliance.
Yeah.
Everybody.
It wasn't something that really appealed to us, so we just decided, hey, we'll just go with the plain one with the decals on it, and if we want to do something different down the road, we'll figure that out.
Okay. And then when we had our RV painted, and we were building our custom RV, of course, we met CDI in the painting process because we wanted to paint our truck. And we learned through the course of that we could have had our RV basically, or our truck wrapped to match, and they said, why don't you paint it? So we had no idea that there was actually companies out there that you could take. They specialize in taking like your old RVs, you take them in, they can strip the old decals and repaint them at a pretty good price. So you guys were like the first Alliance that they
Yes.
painted, right?
Yep.
And so how did the design work? Because you took everything in, how did it work with that?
Yeah, so it started off with they have a whole database of pre-designed templates
Right.
that they let us pick through and everything else, and we looked through those for a while, and then we decided, you know what, we'd really wanted to do our own thing. And so, we looked around online, found some RVs we kind of liked the designs on, sent it over to them,
Right.
and sent them some pictures of it, and their design team shot us back a template of, hey, here's our rendering of what
Right.
we think it'll look like, and hey, we want to change this color, hey, we want to add this, and we just honestly emailed back and forth, talked on the phone a couple times, and it took us a couple weeks, and then we had our own custom design done.
design.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of those processes where you can go any direction when you're doing something. So you are a one-of-a-kind Alliance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I noticed you stayed with the Alliance logo on the back, the Valor,
Yep.
and then on the front as well.
Yes.
So that's cool. I mean, I like how you tied it in. Color scheme, one of the goals were, you were mentioning earlier about you wanted to make sure when he was
The
picking
gray
up.
matched the truck.
Yes. Because you, instead of doing anything with the truck, you incorporated, and that's what we did as well. We wanted to make sure that we can incorporate the colors. And so you said that they had all the different grays from the Ram lineup, basically, and then you could choose. Is that?
Yep. So they pulled that paint code, and there's a bunch of variations on it. So they got out all the little paint samples. We went out, stood next to my truck in the sun, held them all up, and found the one that we knew would match. So that way, when they painted it, the gray would match my truck.
That's fine. And then how long was the paint process? How long did you have to drop off the RV? Do you remember?
There was a holiday in there, so it was about 4.5 weeks.
Okay. So it's not going to be, I mean, they've told us anywhere 2 to 3 weeks is kind of like an average when they're bringing stuff in. From an HDT, sometimes it's a little less, but it just depends on the RV.
Yeah.
And they do specialize, they're really trying to specialize in helping people with older RVs, like Class A's and everything, to update, but you have this option. So let's talk price. So average price, from my understanding, from when you're buying a fifth wheel at any of the manufacturers, is going to be that 15 to 16,000. You think?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And so when you're doing this on a custom basis, where did you kind of end up? Because there's going to be variations in this, but I think people kind of need a ballpark.
Yeah, so the base price, so they have a base price, and then we actually paid extra to do the design. The custom design was a
Right.
little bit of a price. To paint the sides of the slides to match the design was extra price.
Okay.
And then the rock guard on the front to help protect it, kind of like a spray-on liner,
Yeah.
was an extra cost. So we ended up right around 20,000.
Oh, see, there you go. You can do all kinds of different options. Did they tell you not to do the silicone stuff?
The
for like
ceramic?
yeah.
Yeah.
For like a year, a minimum of a year before, because they want the clear coat to be able to cure.
Yep.
Is what we were told.
Yep.
And you like it so far?
We love it.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Yeah.
It looks great. It looks
It's
great going down the
pretty
road. I've
down
got
the
a ton of comments already.
Because
so.
it matches, right?
Yep.
And I like the idea of it being able to be used in a capacity of like your vision, what you want for your RV. And I think a lot of times we struggle to have some individuality in the RV space.
And we don't have to worry about the decals peeling or the coat cracking or any of that stuff that kind of comes with age on the non-painted units.
Yeah, and they're great to work with.
Yeah. They were.
I mean,
They were great.
They were.
And how many designs? 2, 3 different designs that you ended up?
We ended up going through about
Variations?
4 variations
Yeah.
before we
Okay.
got where we wanted to be.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate
No
it.
problem.
No problem.
Yeah. So, is there any, like, going through the process? Is there any tips that you think would help somebody if you're thinking through, or you just think that it's a pretty simplistic process?
I don't be afraid to go talk to them. Again,
Okay.
it was. I think overall the process was really simple. They were great to work with.
Okay.
And it's one of those things that, you know what, for a little extra money, we did our own design, right?
Yep.
Instead of just doing one of their templates. It was one of those things that ended up being a little bit more than we'd originally planned on. But at the end of the day, I'd rather spend that money now and have this unique one of a kind thing that we really like, as compared to trying to just settle and get through at the cheapest price.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Todd.
Hopefully this helps RV life. With all that being said, nice little Thursday video. Thought I'd just throw it out there for everybody to find. And if you have any questions, please take a chance and give them an email and see what they have to say. But thanks for visiting.
Thanks.
All right, we're out.